Now, Section 25 of the Constitution should not be amended, nor should land expropriation without compensation be affected. That's the view of commercial farmers and an academic that were presenting their arguments before the Constitutional Review Committee in Parliament this morning. It resumed its hearings today around its review of Section 25. Agribusiness is arguing that the amendments, any amendments basically to the Constitution, are unnecessary as they will affect investor confidence. The organisation says once a land expropriation is implemented, the 200 billion rand debt from commercial farmers will spill over to the entire food value chain, increasing prices and leading to inflation across the board. Grain South Africa suggests black farmers be given title deeds so they can use land as collateral to get finance. The organisation says only 30% of land of their 10,000 black members was ploughed due to insufficient funding. The public hearings will continue for the rest of the week. Well, our SABC reporter Manelisi Dubase was in Parliament today. He joins us from Cape Town. Manelisi, was anybody for expropriation without compensation?
Very few. COSATU actually is the one party that was for this expropriation, but also it has its own issues with the changing of constitution, that it shouldn't be a daily thing, you know, something that will be done all the time when the government want to achieve certain objectives. But they did support expropriation only as it intends, you know, to expropriate land and benefit the poor and the working class in particular.
I'm interested because we've heard from an academic recently that the picture is actually mixed, that some of the very big commercial farmers actually want this issue to be resolved. They're happy to hand over a portion of their land if they can then go on and be profitable. Or are we seeing this divide continue? Those who could be affected saying no, those who could benefit saying yes?
It does seem that generally there is an agreement that the land need to be expropriated, but the issue is it comes when it comes to compensation, because they say that even this Section 25 we're talking about, it does make provisions for the land to be expropriated, but in some instances where the land has been developed or where the land is for agricultural purposes, a little bit of compensation has to be considered in cases like those. But those who are, you know, were saying that it has to be taken at all costs, they say that that route has been considered before, but the farmers and other landowners themselves have been inflating land, you know, unreasonably when the government want to expropriate it and compensate them at a reasonable amount of money. So they say that due to those kind of things, that's why we find ourselves where we are today, that there's virtually no expropriation and there's no land transformation generally. Yeah. So they say that Section 25 has to be changed so that to speed up this process.
Well, there was the expropriation bill, and just to clarify, so that allowed for expropriation with some compensation, but the farmers couldn't decide, government would decide. But that bill actually retracted today.
Yes, in fact, it's just a technical issue because as you know that we still have this constitutional review process which is taking place. It's still going to go on throughout this week until Thursday and probably until next week. So they say that they can't, you know, approve that bill now while this review process is still continuing, because it can undermine these whole hearings and all these road shows that the Constitutional Review Committee has undertaken throughout the country. So they want that process should be completed and then it should be included in that bill so that they can approve it in totality.
So going back to what the MPs were hearing today, hearing from academics, farmers, we know there's been public consultation. So I guess if nothing else, there really is a very broad consultation going on right now.
Yes, of course. I mean, academic institutions, as you say, and some individuals, they've come forth and they are making their submissions, and the committee will have to digest all those and put them together and place them before Parliament for approval before it is finally approved, at least by the end of this month, by the 30th of September.
Okay, so you're saying we're heading towards some sort of resolution, because even the Banking Association is saying if this debate goes on too long, it's going to lead to uncertainty, it's going to weigh on the economy, the last thing we need when we're already in a recession.
That's exactly the issue, that the more it get longer and the more it become controversial, it begin to sort of make people not unsure as to where the direction is going. So the shorter it is and the speedier they deal with it, the better. That's why they are trying to finalize it as soon as, at least before the end of this month. So all these organizations, including the banking associations and everybody else, will be allowed a chance to come here, to come and make his or her submission.
All right, thank you very much, Manelisi Dubase, reporting from Cape Town. Pungani?